Hello and welcome to the ATM podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Alonge, and today I am joined by a very special guest. Do you know what? Yeah, sorry. Every time I say that, I laugh because everyone knows I'm going to say that.
Okay.
But I'm joined by a very special guest, Adebola. Adebola, welcome to the ATM podcast.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
I'm so glad you're here.
No, I'm like, I was very honoured when you asked me to come.
Story.
I really was.
Story.
Sarah's like, socialite.
Story. God. Do you know what? I knew it. I said, when I bring Adebola on this podcast, she'll just be hailing me. My head will swell. Yeah, continue. No, I'm joking. But Adebola, as you know, because you are a listener of the ATM podcast,
I am indeed.
We always start with a this or a that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I explain the rules because people still seem to not understand.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and it's either this or that.
I'm very indecisive.
That has nothing to do with me.
Fair
So you have to answer the question.
I understand the rules. Yep. I'm just going to go with the first thing that comes to my mind.
All right. Okay. Well, since you love a bit of jet setting and whatnot. Would you rather a city break or a beach holiday?
Beach, definitely.
Is it?
Do I need to explain why?
You can, because you like to do Dora Explorer, so I can't.
I feel like beach is just, it gives you like romantic fairy tale vibes, where city, I live in London already, right? So it's like, I'm already in a city. And a city doesn't really identify the country, right? So in London, we are very diverse.
Somebody's using grammar.
Multicultural. Mm-hmm. Once you leave London, it's not multicultural. So I feel like if you go to a beach, you tend to find the reality of what the country is and what it represents.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, I feel like my next question, I know the answer now. I was going to say, do you prefer like winter in New York? Oh, she already said no. Basically, you just said like winter. So this
At
one,
all. I told you, Sarah,
the winter vacation. Do you know
what
what it is? Because some people love that whole skiing and going to that place. Is Iceland where they have that cold something.
I even went to Iceland in the summer, their hottest time of the year, and it was still cold.
No, that's all long for man. I can't even lie. So basically, this or that was, a summer in in Barbados or winter in New York, and you said summer in Barbados. Okay, cool. All right. Rice or pasta?
Rice, because I'm Nigerian, and pasta. Oh yeah, rice. Just rice.
I said rice or pasta. Someone said rice and pasta. What do you think the problem is?
Pasta's more like sustainable for your waist, but let's just say rice.
The two of them. Listen, the way I eat pasta, it's not sustainable for my own waist. I can say that for free because I eat pasta like there's something wrong with me.
See, I don't eat pasta that much.
See, mine is definitely pasta.
Okay.
I feel like they used rice to traumatize us as a child. Rice and stew, jollof rice, fried rice.
You see, I didn't grow up on rice. My mum was more yam, pounded yam. Yeah, like I would have pounded yam 3 times a week. Yeah. It was quite
solid.
Yes, yeah, very solid. Or just English food.
Okay, so last one, because I'm going to, talk about food. So, like abula, yeah. So like,
yeah. Or
like rice.
Abula, definitely.
Okay.
And I only tasted abula this year for the first time because I don't like amala.
I don't mind amala, but you see that biggie that they put on that we do. It's just it looks like it's giving slime. It's giving not nice.
Like try it.
It's giving lit. Like try it. It's not me and you. Anyway, thank you, Adebola, for answering this or that. It was a lot easier because I realized that when I ask the hard questions, people just disobey the rules of the game. So I feel like now we've got a groove, and I ask very simple questions.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, perfect. So before we start, who's Adebola?
Yeah, who is Adebola? That's a good question. So I am a travel content creator. I focus mainly on travel food. I like to say travel and food, but I feel like it's travel food for me because anytime I can, I will relate travel to food. So if you follow me, you'll see that I do like I'll do reviews of like airlines that I travel on. So like I did a Turkish airline food review of the plane food that they give us.
Do you know when I saw that? Yeah.
Go on.
I said somebody's reviewing airline food.
Yeah. But people don't do that.
Of course not. But I watched it to the end. Because
did you?
I watched it to the end. Because I was like, I actually need to know. But I've flown Turkish airline and I thought their food was nice.
Yes.
You also said their food isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Nice is a stretch, but I prefer it to be. I mean,
airline food is not nice, simply, like just in general. But I feel like people don't realize that we eat when we're on the plane. We eat when we get to the airport.
So you're like, okay, let me review the food.
Yeah,
as well.
let me just.
I hear that.
I started even reviewing Airport lounges as well.
Hey, bougie traveller. Some of us don't make it to airport lounge.
No, it's not even about that.
You gonna let us know? you gonna let us know?
If you have a gold Amex card, you get 2 free airport.
My Amex card is definitely blue.
Okay, mine is gold.
Well, that's that.
So if you want to get a gold different level. Then I can refer you.
Refer me. Yeah, you get points.
Yes, and we both get points.
Oh, okay. So
and you get airport lounge access for a year.
Yeah. To be sincere, though, airport lounge is dope. It makes such a difference.
Yes, it does.
All right. So you told us a bit about who you are and what you do. So you're called My Breaking Views,
yes.
yeah? And I've never asked you this, which is weird. What was the inspiration for the name?
Okay, so if I'm really honest with you, my friend, a really close friend of mine, Latoya, gave me the name. And it was actually because I started off my blog as a political blog. So I finished university, did international politics at uni, and wanted to do a blog because at that time I didn't feel like enough black people were talking about politics.
Which is true.
So as I moved into, I work in the civil service. So as you work in the civil service, you actually have to remain impartial when you are working for the government because you don't know who you're going to be working for. So I've only worked for a specific
government.
Government. So I love the name My Breaking Views. It's my views. So I just kept the name and decided to just continue it with my travel.
But it works.
Really?
It works well. I love
wanted
it.
to change it.
No. I feel like because even when I met you, because we met on social media, and I feel like even when I met you, you were My Breaking Views. Like I love that. I think the name's
MBV
catchy.
For sure.
MBV for sure. Like she's a real MBV. Like what are you saying? Do you know what I mean? You can't change. Or you're gonna change it to Adabola's Talks. No, it's okay.
I was gonna change it to Cooking Travel Talks.
That's really, really dull.
Okay.
It's
so
given
definitely My Breaking Views.
Yeah, I love My Breaking Views.
Thank you.
By the way, I didn't really think it was dull, but I've just had to be a bit. Someone's there like, wow, if she changes the name, Sarah, that was horrible. Okay, so you document your journey, you document travel and food, right? So what birthed your love for traveling?
So backstory, I didn't get my British passport until I was going into university. And I think a lot of us find out that once we get into university that we don't actually have a British passport, and a lot of us are not actually technically British even though we are born in this country. So I remember going through the process of getting my British passport, which is very, very long. Very long.
Yeah.
And I remember actually going through the process and being like, once I get my passport, I'm going everywhere. Like I was saying it to my family with my big chest. So I have to keep that, momentum going. But I feel like for me, it's just been the main thing for me was living in Singapore. So I did a study exchange for my last year of my undergrad. And while I was out living in Singapore is a really good place, just, fun fact,
I love Singapore.
To go around different Asian countries because it's literally in the heart of Southeast Asia.
And they have that fantastic airport.
There we go. They didn't have that fantastic airport when I was living there.
Oh, really?
But I have seen it, yes.
Amazing.
And after that, I pretty much have traveled all of Southeast Asia and was like, I just need to continue this. It's something to look forward to, and that's where the passion has come from.
Do you know what? Yeah, because I know we're not speaking about that, but I think that's so important because I was having this conversation with someone as well that a lot of us growing up, we just didn't travel that much. Like I traveled quite a bit because my dad lived in another country, and the way my family's the way my family is I have a lot of family in America and a lot of family in Nigeria. So when I say I traveled, I literally went to Nigeria and America. Like literally, and if I was lucky, I followed my mum to Switzerland to go and buy lace. Like that was my travel experience. Whereas you kind of go to school with other people who are very well traveled, depending where you live. I live in Southwest London, and where we lived, right, it was just a combination of different kind of kids, but there was the affluent who lived like up the road, the people who lived in the estate. So you're going to school with people who travel every summer, Easter half term, like they're traveling. And then fast forward, we go to university, and for some people, it's only when they're either doing something like a plan for student loan, or when they're trying to sort something out, they realize, wow, like I haven't been nationalized, so I'm legal. It's not like I'm illegal in the country, but I haven't been nationalized. So to kind of go from years without traveling to bang, you turn 18 and you take the traveling thing very far because I thought it was an armed robber or something because the way this girl travels,
it's to be fair, we've had 2 years where we have not been able to travel.
Before
so I'm catching up.
Not catching up. She said catching up.
Compensating.
Okay. So, you know, a lot of people think that you can't travel, you know, because of your past experiences and whatnot. How did you kind of explained it, to be fair, but how did you like break that barrier where you were like, do you know what? I'm just gonna do it.
It's a difficult one because I feel like if you want to do it, you have to prioritize it, right? So travel is my priority. So that is basically what I work for. I work to go and travel. Like when I get paid, I put a certain 25% or 30% of my salary to travel.
Oh, wow.
I feel like travel has become a lot more easy and a lot more accessible for people now. But back then, I think I just had people that wanted to travel as well. So having like-minded people was really helpful.
But what if you don't? Because some people only want to go to Dubai, and that's it.
And that's fair enough. But then I will say solo travel, but not everyone is equipped to do solo traveling. Yeah. But if I'm really honest with you, I wouldn't have gone to half the countries I've been to had I not considered solo traveling.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I solo traveled for the first time in 2016, but definitely not by choice. So my cousin was supposed to come with me.
Yeah, and then they
and they cancelled, and I realized it was the best thing ever. Like, and I made it a thing to go somewhere every year. And I remember there was a year I was supposed to go to Italy, and I'm happy I didn't go to Italy by myself actually, because I've heard a lot of stories. But my flight got cancelled, and I was so upset. But then I ended up just traveling somewhere in the UK because at that time as well, like it was literally the day before, and I feel like now, like you said, it's so much easier to go on the airline and guess, okay, I want to go to this place, I want to go to that place, or I want to book this hotel. But yeah, I think solo traveling is amazing, and it's so good for your mental health as well.
I don't even think it's just mental health. It's about, can you actually do things by yourself? There's a lot of people that travel, and you go traveling with them, and you realize that they literally rely on you for everything. And that is everything. Like, when do we go and leave here? And that's a lot of work. Like, it can mentally drain you when you're traveling with them. But solo traveling allows you to be like, oh, it's only me. I can't rely on anyone else.
She said, I can't be your nanny. If you want to know what to do on this holiday, do it yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, so you said you saved 25% towards traveling, yeah? Because I was going to ask you, like, are you like a secret millionaire that we don't know? Do you have a sugar daddy? If so, what's his details?
I'm not, no.
No, I'm joking.
So definitely never will be doing sugar daddies. I think I'm too rude to be having a sugar daddy.
Wow, she didn't even say because of my morals don't align. She said, I'm too rude to have a sugar daddy.
I don't have the energy for them. No, I don't have the energy. My morals as well, but I don't have the energy for
the morals, guys. Trust me.
But I am a millionaire in Jesus' name.
Amen.
I'm claiming it. My breaking news is going to be, 6-figure millionaire business.
Come on, woo!
Shut that up. I remember it was on ATM podcast that I first
said remember it, stamp it. Don't forget us when it happens. Okay. She's going to be traveling on her private jet.
Exactly. But no, I don't think I'm not currently a millionaire, and I think, like I said, it is a lot more accessible to travel now. So now you have travel groups. So and I'll just give you a couple of examples. There's Go Jolly, there's Ajala Travel Tours, and you can pay monthly. So that amount that I'm saving each month actually just goes to them for a travel. So I went to Gambia and Senegal. That was a planned trip with a company, and you can pay £100, £200. You make the negotiation with them.
Yeah.
But the idea is that between now and January,
the date you're going, you're going to pay.
Yeah. And then by the time you're going, it's literally you just pay for your flight, because they do say you need to pay literally a month before you're going. So what you're doing by the time you're getting ready to go to that flight, to that holiday, it's just you pay for your flight. And
it's kind of like how back in the day when your parents, so when we used to go to Nigeria, this was before the days of going online. You had to use a travel agent. And I used to think, how did my mum afford to go to Nigeria with 3 kids, herself, and 1,200 suitcases? But they literally used to pay in installments to a travel agent. And I think now, because everything is so you can just do it yourself online, people feel like you have to pay all at once, or you have to do it this way. And I think knowing the different ways you can travel, and the reason why I wanted to do this on this podcast, an ATM podcast, is obviously I love the fact that you are going with your passion, and I think a lot of people need to leap out and do more. But actually, I think traveling is so important, and within the Black community, we do not travel enough. We do not understand other people's cultures. No shade at all to Americans. I mean, no shade, even though 60% of you guys still don't have a passport. No shade, right? But Americans, when I go to America, like other than my family, who obviously they are Nigerian like immigrants and whatnot, and so they travel a bit. A lot of them, because their country has everything. They have skiing, they have beaches, they have camp, they have everything, right? They don't travel outside of America. So they may get those experiences, but they don't get the culture.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're living in a multicultural city, or when you are trying to do certain things in life, understanding other people's cultures is so important to your personal, and I would even say career development.
Yeah, definitely.
I think understanding that and learning different ways, because the ways you've learned aren't always the right ways. And so I'm not saying, if you don't care for traveling that much, I'm not saying travel multiple times a year, but I do think it's important for you to say, you know what, I want to go to this place in the world and do what they do and eat their food and, you know, have it that way, right?
And I agree with that. I feel like even at work, I feel like I'm a lot more respected because I travel. Because I can say, oh yeah, I've been to Gambia. I can say, and you know, the people at work are like, oh, okay, so
she'd be like, I lived in Singapore.
Yeah, and people look at you
and
differently.
They look at you differently, yeah.
And they, you know, they speak to you about much wider things than, you know, that you would anticipate that you wouldn't even
And it's
about.
never too late as well.
Yes, definitely.
Because, you know, you kind of go to, like, when I used to do a lot of campaigns with, like, big corporate banks, and they would look at who they were hiring. And I used to do a lot of D&I campaigns about, you know, how can you get more diverse people in? And they work on point systems. So I remember, like, they would do, like, points. And a black applicant who is very academically sound in comparison to a white candidate, and I'm talking about graduate level here. And when it comes down to the last things, they look at the extracurricular. And one candidate says, oh, I've travelled, I took a gap year, I did this, I did that. But the other candidate doesn't put anything in there, because to them, they don't see the relevance of, you know, the fact that they volunteered or whatnot in that application. So they now see the travelling and they give that person a point. It wasn't that that person was more qualified, but they see it as, oh, they've had different life experiences. Like, there's actually a link to it that I think a lot of people don't realise. And when I say it to people, I'm like, listen, they care. They care, like, they respect you more. That is at a young age, right? But I feel like even now, traveling, you may not put it on your CV because you may be in a place in your career where you don't need to, but it does bring you that respect in the workplace. It's a great conversation starter when you're like doing business development or whatnot. These are things that people just don't realize. Thanks for making it this far. If you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss an episode. So we've obviously spoken about the fact, I don't know why you're laughing. So we've obviously spoken about the fact that you travel like you are going to Audi or something. Because no, you probably,
I think that's a compliment, to be honest.
It is a compliment. Like, how many places have you been to this year?
7.
You've been to more than 7 places.
No, it's been 7 countries.
Okay, where have you been to?
So I went Jordan at the beginning of the year.
Jordan.
And can I just put a caveat that I actually finished paying for that in 2020. I was meant to go in 2020, but obviously we know what happened.
Panoramic.
Yes, so that was already paid for. All I had to do is pay for my flight.
She said, Sarah, don't come for me, because I got the receipts to say that I paid for my inch, okay?
So
there we go.
So Jordan, and Jordan's quite cheap to go to. Like, you can actually go there. It's only a 5-hour flight. It's actually quite cheap.
I've never in my life had a desire to go to Jordan.
You would actually really like
However, your stories, do you remember I was like, oh my gosh, you're making me want to go to Jordan.
You're a very big commentator for my stories. I actually really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. I like it, because I think in another world I'll travel more, but I don't like animals.
There's no animals in Jordan.
There's animals everywhere. I feel like I like to travel and explore. And then when I travel and explore, there's like a cat next to my foot. Or
okay, no, there is, yeah, okay, there's animals like that.
Okay, cats and dogs are animals. I don't know why people act like they're people. They're animals.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about camels and goats and stuff. These are fine. It's them cats and them dogs. Exactly. You couldn't even argue.
I'm not going to argue with that.
It's true.
But I just ignore them.
Okay, so you've been to Jordan.
So where did I go to next? I went to France. I just went to a day trip to Paris.
Okay, so you see content creators, yeah, fear them. And the Bullet's Paris trip was so sick. And then when she told me it was one day, I said, you couldn't have done all of this one day. You even had different outfits.
Yeah, you changed during the day.
No, I hear it, because I went to Paris. I didn't even upload half of my Paris content because I think I couldn't bother it. But I changed like 2 times a day, right?
Exactly.
And I went to Paris for maybe like 4 days or something.
Okay.
But my 4 days looked shorter than your one day. Like, fear them, I'm telling you, because they'll be putting like, oh, I did this, I did that in one day.
But
wow. I hear that still. So you did Jordan, France.
Yeah, and when we say France, I feel like we should say Paris with it because it's a very different experience. Yeah, and
that's
it's different,
true.
right? So I often try and say Paris, but obviously people will come for you and be like, that's not a country.
To be fair, yeah, because I love the fact that I actually what country you said France, because when I say country and people say Dubai, I say Dubai is actually a city that is within the United Arab Emirates. But I hear it, I get it, it's not your fault. Everyone else thinks it's a country, but let's just correct you. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So Jordan, city, Paris.
Yeah. And then I did Turkey. Mm-hmm. So I went to quite a few places in Turkey.
Okay.
And then where did I go? And then I went to Italy for my cousin's wedding. Queer wedding.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That is so interesting. Oh, is your cousin a girl? Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
that was a given. I had to go to that trip.
Yeah, but it's still part of it.
Okay.
Italy, yeah.
And then I went to Nigeria because I was going to Senegal and Gambia.
But you still went to Nigeria and her Nigeria trip was lit and it made me miss Lagos.
Yeah, Lagos was lit. I actually need to go to Nigeria at least once a year.
It's amazing.
It changed.
Like, it's just, there's nowhere like it.
No,
there's nowhere like Lagos. And you need to go in and go out. That's the thing. But there's nowhere like it. Okay, so Nigeria, that's 5.
Yeah, Senegal and Gambia.
Okay, so you're not lying then. My breaking views isn't just traveling, right? It's traveling and cooking, okay? So first question. So did your love for cooking, was it birthed through all your traveling experiences, or is it something that has, was already there?
No, it's always been there, but I just don't think I've always cooked. I feel like you just have to cook for the sake of life, right? Or breathing. But it actually came during lockdown.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone was at home. Everyone was cooking. And my friend messaged me. I was doing a keto diet then. My friend messaged me and said, since you're not traveling, can you just do lives with us and cook suya? I was making suya. She's like, oh, you could do like a Nigerian one where you tell people about your trips in Nigeria. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then I realized we weren't going anywhere for a long time. So I was like, I could actually make this a thing where...
Make it into a thing.
Yeah. And now it's basically whenever I go to a certain country, so I'm contemplating whether to do Senegal or Gambia, but I think I'm more leaning to Gambian food. And I will talk...
Why?
I feel like the food is quite similar.
Okay.
And I think I basically ate everything in Gambia. Like,
I love how brave you are. No, it's bravery.
Sarah will be in my DMs and be like, how did you eat this street food?
No, how? Do you know what it is, yeah? When I was younger, like, you can't compare street food to going to a restaurant in Nigeria. The street food bangs, it bangs. However, what also was banging was my belly. My belly was banging.
No, okay, I felt that in Gambia. I didn't feel it in Nigeria.
No, my belly is very sensitive. So for me, I just can't. And then and also I think about things too much. So in my head, I'm like, so what water did they use to boil that rice? These are the kind of things that go through my mind.
But then do you also drink because what I realized was I was taking ice cubes in my drink.
Ice cubes?
Yeah. Like the ice cubes they use will be tap water.
Tap water.
So it might not necessarily always be the food. It might actually be because you're having ice in your drinks and your body's not.
That's true. For the water. I think it's also because my auntie had an icing company, right, in Nigeria. So she had an icing company, and she served like a lot of like companies with ice. They did the ice with purified water. Okay. So in my head as well, I'm thinking, all these restaurants, they must use icing companies. they must, No, because when I started the bougie experience, my belly was fine. Mm-hmm. I missed the street food experience there.
No, street food is lit.
It's lit.
That abula that I had in Nigeria.
Every day abula. It's okay. We get to abula and basanda.
It went down.
It went down. I hear that. I hear that. So you started cooking because of lockdown, and you've kept it up. Like, I love your lives. I always miss them because you're on Sunday, and you know me, I'm in church. Like,
that makes sense. Sunday just makes sense because everyone's at home.
It does, and to be fair, most people are back from church at that time. I don't know. It's just
not you.
But sometimes I log on, like, literally, and I always come like 10 minutes towards the end, and I'm like, oh damn, I've missed it. But it's actually fun. It's interactive.
Thank you.
You learn a lot. I love the fact that you focus on different cultures and different, different dishes. You even add drinks sometimes. Yeah. Come on, girl, you better give it to us. Because
everyone wants to cook food. Some people actually just want to make the drink. And my friend who does cocktails, I always try and get her in to come and show me.
I hear that. So you're on TikTok.
Yes.
And you're on Instagram.
Yes.
Before you came this amazing TikTok sensation, right? We're going to talk about that because I don't know what you're doing. We're going to talk about that in a second. But you actually decided to close your original Instagram page and start again. And I remember when you said that, I said, but you've got like a healthy following. Why would you do that? I couldn't for the life of me.
I think it's working out for me.
It's girl, it is working out for you. I can't relate because I won't do it. But it's working out for you. What made you do that?
So it's a combination of a lot of things. I actually started like my Instagram as just a personal account like 10 years ago when we all was on Instagram. I didn't start it as my breaking views. So I was following people that no longer use Instagram anymore. So they were just messing up with my engagement. I was also people were following me that are not on Instagram. Then also, just a bit of background story, I had a lot of trolls that had followed me because of the incident in Greece where I was, a guard lied and said I was flashing myself, so I was arrested for sexual indecency. So I had... Rewind.
You can't drop that on the ATM podcast and think we're not going to go there.
I'm sorry.
We have to go there.
Go ahead.
Okay, remember the point. So you were arrested. As in, someone please call 911, arrested. Yeah. Cool. In another country?
Yes. In Greece.
Did you go into a cell?
Yes.
Overnight?
I stayed at the police station overnight, but the next morning they took my fingerprints, photos.
Hey! Criminal.
I was sat with other prisoners in Greece.
Okay, so tell us the story.
So the story is, where do you even begin? I went with my ex at the time to meet his family. They live in Greece.
I blame him.
So do I, actually.
Bad vibes.
Yeah. That's why we're not together no more.
Cheers!
We thank God.
I'm sorry, ex. I don't even know who you are. But I'm just my girl. I'm going to stick beside her. That's what I'm going to do.
But so we went to Greece and we went to the Acropolis site. And I wore this, the vibe was go for a Greek image, dress. And we got to the Acropolis site and all of a sudden I just had, he was taking pictures of me and all of a sudden I just had this woman just grab me. And they're speaking Greek. Now, my ex speaks Greek. His family grew up in Greece, so they speak Greek. So I was just like, oh, they will deal with it. I don't know what's going on. Maybe something that they will deal with. By the time we got downstairs, they were like, where's your passport? So I will always travel with my passport now because at that time, I wasn't ever traveling with my passport because they basically said, we need to come to the police station to verify ourselves to make sure that we are actually British because apparently there's a huge flux of immigrants in Greece at the moment.
Wow.
Well, not even at the moment, there has been.
Yeah.
So we got to the police station and I was actually laughing at that point.
Because you're thinking this is a joke.
Yeah, this is a joke. You lot are giving me good stories to tell my, Instagram. So got to the police station and they actually said they had to arrest me because of sexual indecency. And they didn't give me a translator, didn't give me a lawyer because, as I say, during the whole process, I was literally just like, oh, you lot do what you need to do and we'll go. So my ex actually translated the guards basically came to the police station and he basically said that I flashed myself. He asked me to stop and then I flashed myself again. And what's actually hilarious? Because I feel like even if you met me for like 10 minutes.
That's not even the case.
You don't even, it's not my character at all. So I was hysterical, Sarah. Like I was bawling my eyes out. I was punching my head at one point. I think I was pulling my hair to the point like they had to grab me and just be like, just stop, calm down because what do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do in that scenario, right? So I stayed at the police station for the night and then the next day they carried me with other prisoners to the court and my ex's family got me a translator and they were like, what do you do? At that time, I was working at Ministry of Justice. So I was like, so they're like, why are you here? What do you do? I was like, I work at Ministry of Justice. I just came to see my, family. And the woman was just looked at me. She was just like, I don't speak Greek. I don't understand Greek. But the look she gave me was like, why is this girl here?
That is, do you know what? Yeah, when I say Black Lives Matter, people think it's a joke because the fact you are black, the fact that they automatically assumed you were an immigrant or you were doing something illegal, the fact that you weren't given a lawyer or a translator or anything like that, it's for me is very telling as to why some people are afraid to travel. And I think it's interesting because we speak about it and I didn't want to go there, but I think you took us there. Like a lot of people don't want to travel.
Fair enough.
Because the fear of, I'm going to go to this place and I'm going to be profiled because of the colour of my skin. Yeah. So Holly can travel. So I don't know why Holly comes to my mind, but Holly can travel because Holly is white and there's white privilege everywhere in the world, including in black countries, right? Yeah. Whereas I travel and they see criminal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You even
and it's always how we're dressed as well.
And it's always how we're dressed. Even if you were dressed like a saint, somehow they'll say, oh yeah, they're covering their face. You say they're flashing. Me, they'll say that I'm covering my face. That, you know, maybe I'm trying to rob a bank or something. And you even had a viral video on TikTok about places you didn't feel safe traveling to as a black woman.
Yeah. That video is constantly...
Even up to now, boy, I still see people like, I felt safe going there. I don't know what you talking about, girl. Some people relating, you know.
Yeah, most people, I think, are the Greeks who are actually being racist in the comments. So they're just, you know,
they're just confirming it.
Basically. But someone actually said, which was really interesting, that it's because I didn't ask for a license because I was trying to dress like a Greek person. And I was like, okay.
Is that a thing? People just really trying to defend their country, and it's actually okay.
Yeah, I've stopped responding to the comments, but yeah, I spoke about Bulgaria, Greece, and Italy because those are the countries where I feel like I know I'm being racially profiled.
And that's why I said at the beginning, I'm actually happy, and I feel like God saved me that I didn't do my solo trip in Italy, because even at that point, my friend at work who is Italian, he was like, "Oh, I'm so happy because." Italy is racist. He said it to me, Italy's racist. Like, not everyone is. And when I was younger, I used to say if I wasn't black, I'd be Italian because they're gangster. But now they're racist. Not all of them. Not all of them. But, you know, and unfortunately,
they have... thinking this video, if it goes viral, they'll just be like, oh, it's not like for all of us.
Yeah. It is what it is. Thanks for making it this far. If you like what you see, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And turn on your notification bell so you don't miss an episode. Okay, so basically you started your Instagram again as for a number of reasons, including the trolls that came with the whole traveling situation.
And then finally, I feel like there's this issue that content creators have, which is if you're like, it's like the accountability or the entitlement, which is if you've got that 2,000 to 5,000 following, you should be able to put a video and it should go viral. And I was getting into that stage. And then what happens, I see, particularly with the British content creators, is if it doesn't go viral, you're like, oh, Instagram is dead. I'm not doing any Instagram again, blah, blah, blah. What I've said to myself is if I started again, I knew I had to keep producing content.
Yeah, you had to.
Because
you wouldn't get lazy.
Yeah.
But there is that thing, like sometimes when people complain about the algorithm, I'm like, we all know that Instagram's constantly changing, but sometimes you just have to, you have to ask yourself why you're creating content, right? Like if I create this video and only 200 people watch it or 20 people watch it or 2,000 people watch it, like, am I creating it because I'm trying to get it to be viral or because I'm creating content and this is what I love doing and this is what I want to share, and if it's viral, bonus, you know? Like, why are you doing it? And I think the why is missing, and I think you kind of taught me that, like, listen, starting again isn't easy, but it helps you to just keep churning out that content.
I'm just focused. I need to produce content to grow.
Yeah, because and you've like when I look at your Instagram, I'm like, rah, but it's your TikTok that gets me. Because I remember you said, I'm just gonna do a video every single day for 30 days. Joining, she said that I didn't last more than 3 days because that TikTok, I love consuming content on TikTok. Yeah. I love consuming it. It's so addictive. It's putting it out there, and I know everyone keeps saying to me, just put the same things you put out on Instagram.
I do the same.
And I know I should. I just don't know what it is. Like I go on TikTok to post, and I end up watching about 5 hours worth of videos. Then I'm like, I'm not on this app again. I'm not going on this app again. I've got things to do.
You can get distracted by the noise, I must say. But I literally will post the same video on both.
Yeah, and it's mad because what does better?
TikTok.
And it's crazy.
It is, because I think the same video on TikTok has got 4.5 million views.
4.5 million, no?
On just TikTok.
On TikTok. And what is it on Instagram?
3,000.
It's mad. Same video.
Same video.
But
same
two different platforms.
Everything. I don't know.
Wow. TikTok, sorry first. All right. So this has been such a fun and engaging and enjoyable conversation. You know how I am. Like I love to learn, and I would be honest and say that when it comes to like food, I've always been very safe in the kitchen, but at the same time, like I'm not even trying to toot my own horn. Whatever I cook bangs. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
Like whatever I cook bangs. Pay my bride price. Whatever I cook bangs. But even with traveling, like I've definitely like broadened my horizon with traveling. Like now I've said to myself, okay, I'm not going to go to any other than Nigeria. Doesn't count. I'm not going to go to anywhere that I haven't already been. Like I definitely want to do Africa.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely want to do like South America. I want to do the Caribbean. I can't believe I've never been to the Caribbean. I was supposed to go. Have you never been as well?
No, I'm like next year is Caribbean, South America, Africa.
Exactly. So I was supposed to go to the Caribbean during the pandemic as well.
So was I.
And then that didn't happen. So I'm going to go. And that would be dope. But just to round it up, what would your top tips be for anybody who wants to start traveling, but doesn't know where to start? But also, top tips for those who want to start traveling, but also top tips for people who want to start creating content, but just don't know how or where they fit in a world where there are many people creating content.
I would definitely say, like, live within your means. That's my biggest thing, because, like, you see people actually literally doing the most, and, like, drawing up credit cards in their name just to catch up with everyone.
Yes,
I'm on chapter 20. You could be on chapter 25. Like, everyone's story starts.
Everyone's story is different, yeah.
And definitely just start small. Go somewhere close to home. Like the UK, I would say maybe go somewhere like Czech Republic is really good. It's a cheap European country. That's why I suggest, but just start off small. Start with what you actually have in your pocket and make it a priority. Like, instead of going out every weekend out in London.
Actually send it for me.
No, but you know,
it's true.
Make it a priority. Like, I won't buy an expensive bag, because that expensive bag money, £500-600, can go on a flight from East Coast to Lagos.
Listen, even at £500-600, I'm happy that, like, I bought a lot of my bags a long time ago. The same bag that's £500 today is like £1,000 now.
Wow.
So you're better off just saving that money for a flight.
Yeah. Or, you know, and when we go out in London, we're spending at least £100.
Yeah, men
just
now especially. We'll be screaming cost of living, but that cost of living isn't doing us because we're still going out.
Exactly.
We're still going out.
But that could be a flight to Italy.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Or Paris, or,
it's
you know, so like, if you make what you want to do a priority, and I promise you, it'll just flow. And main thing, if it's content creating, it needs to be consistent. Like, don't start and then and this is the thing I'm even seeing now, is people be like, I'm going to do this for a month, and then they're like, I didn't see no progress.
And so they stop,
They stop. But then I've been consistent since April, May this year.
Yeah.
And, like, I think the most time I got the most followers was when I went to Nigeria. Can you imagine I stopped in June?
Yeah.
And then didn't bother when I went to Nigeria. In Nigeria, I couldn't believe how many people were messaging me. Because it seemed like the diaspora don't go to Nigeria, but they want to go to Nigeria, and they just don't know how to go about it. I think a lot of our parents have instilled so much fear in a lot of, like, so someone like me, Nigeria's, it's been a part of my story in the sense that, because my dad lives there. So I've always gone to Nigeria. I go to Nigeria by myself. My mum does not have to be in the country. My dad, I've been to Nigeria, my dad's not in the country. You know, my ex-partner was in Nigeria for a period. So, like, when I go to Nigeria, I get the most DMs. And people who go love it. Yeah. But our parents are like, don't go, they'll kidnap you, they'll do this, they'll do that. And that fear has stopped so many people. And it's sad. You see more Nigerians going to Ghana, you see more Nigerians going to other countries, because they have this fear instilled in them that they just won't be safe in Nigeria, they won't have a good time in Nigeria. But I actually got the most questions when I went there, like, where should I stay when I go? Like, what things should I do? So I'll be definitely going again next year.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Honestly, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a good episode. It's been a great episode. Listen, I love it. I love you. Thank you so much. So where can we find you?
My breaking views on everything. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, everything.
She forgot TikTok. And TikTok,
yeah, sorry.
Okay, cool. So make sure you go and follow her page.
Thank you.
You know, I like you think you should join the YouTube gang too, but it's okay.
Oh,
she's
coming. I even begin?
I know. I feel like a lot of people aren't into YouTube as much anymore.
No, but we should be.
Yeah, we should be.
It's where the money's at.
It's actually where the money's at. I mean, I wouldn't know yet, but I'm going to know. But thank you so much, Adebola, for having us.
It's a privilege. Honestly, I'm deeply honoured to be even invited by you, Sarah. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for tuning into the HM podcast, where we cash out on a weekly basis. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.